to What's in the Box episodes of horror with Donna and Eric. I'm Donna,
And I'm Eric.
and we're continuing on with our Texas AuthorCon interviews. And we have with us tonight the one and only Matt Shaw. Thank you for joining us, Matt.
No, thanks for having me. Even though it's really late and I had to stay out past my bedtime and I'm really tired and I've got other things to do because I'm really busy. I'm grateful to be here. What can I say?
Yeah, we really appreciate it. So.
Yeah, we do appreciate you taking the time. And I saw you post the other day on Facebook, like you've got all things coming up, and then you're flying to Texas for AuthorCon, and then flying back for other things. I'm like, damn, this man does not stop.
It's mad. I've got Guns N' Roses concert coming up on Friday, but I'm so tired I might skip that. So I've got the ticket, but I might just not go. But then the week after, it's a meeting with Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper and Joe Perry, which I want to do. Then 4 days after that, that's when Texas AuthorCon is. So everything's coming around real fast.
Yeah,
it's an amazing lineup right there.
It's good though, because it's nice to be.
Don't skip Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, it's all right. I mean, out of the three, I think that's the low.
Yeah.
Well, it's I'm going to the Hollywood Vampires concert to meet the Johnny and that, but I'm not staying for the actual concert because I don't like their music.
Yeah, no, I get that too. So
yeah,
I just want to meet Johnny Depp and Alice Cooper. So yeah, I'll be skipping that concert for sure. But Guns N' Roses, they're hit and miss. Sometimes they're really good, and sometimes they're just awful.
Yeah.
Axl Rose just needs to get on his cardio and get a bit fitter.
Yeah, that's the thing about him. I mean, he doesn't care. So if he's in the right mood, he'll give you the best show ever. And if he isn't, you can go after yourself. He doesn't care. So
yeah, I love the meme that I've seen of him where it was a picture of him from back when he was, in the younger days, and it was a woman who said like, "Oh, I wish I could find a man like that." And you see Axl Rose saying, "Hey," and she's like, "No," and he's like, "I'm literally the guy in the picture."
Yeah,
I saw that meme. I was just like, "Oh, that is embarrassing."
Yeah, it is. It is a little bit.
Yeah. All right. So starting off, we'll just have some fun questions. So tell us, Michael, Freddy, or Jason?
Who's the stronger one, or which one I'd fuck?
Who's your favorite? Well, okay, or that, and that's
an angle
we have not taken yet on the show. So,
I didn't think of it taking that angle, and you can bleep that swear word out because I swore by accident there.
Oh no, that's fine.
I actually don't like the 80s slasher films.
Oh, okay.
And I get crucified for saying it. I think they're really boring. When I was growing up, it was always Freddy Krueger because he was. My mum and dad, they went out and there's an old VHS. Do you have VHS tapes in America? Are they called the same?
Yeah.
So we had a VHS tape and it was on top of a cabinet and I snuck it down and put it on. I should be grateful it was Nightmare on Elm Street and not some porn they had recorded. Mum, Dad, but I turned it off real fast because it really scared me. And there's a couple of years later I watched the whole film, but I watched it terrified. Friday the 13th has never been a scary film, and I think the whole Jason keep coming back, it's just boring. And Michael, everyone's running and he's just casually walking and I'm just like, oh, shut up.
Yeah.
But which one I'd sleep with, I think well, it couldn't be Freddy because of the glove. That's not going to go well.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to have to be Michael Myers because at least then you also get someone that's quiet so they won't wake the neighbors and kind of looks like William Shatner, so you can say you've had someone from Star Trek as well.
Yeah,
there you go. It's a win-win.
Yeah, and he's not really deformed, is he? Because we know Jason under his mask, he's deformed.
Oh no, I don't think Myers. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. He's just
I'm not going down a deformed route because if someone has that kind of deformity in life and they hear this, they'll think that I'm being horrible about them, and I'm not. So I'm not touching that. And also, I haven't actually ever given this any consideration before. I was just being a smartass for the show. And now I'm there thinking, which one would I sleep with?
So tell me now, vampires or werewolves?
As long as none of them are from Twilight. So let's just say that.
Hmm.
I'm going to go werewolves because the werewolf films are better than the vampire films.
Yeah.
So An American Werewolf in London
Hmm.
and Dog Soldiers, two great, completely different films, and
Yeah.
The Howling, of course.
Mhm.
And vampires. Do you guys like the Lost Boys?
Yes.
I love the
yes.
Lost Boys.
See,
We,
when I was
we
growing
lean
up,
towards werewolf movies every time we do
Yeah.
these interviews, but there are a handful of vampire movies that stand out, and Lost Boys is one of them.
Yeah.
yeah, but that's just it. I used to love it growing up,
Hmm.
but then I watched it again a few years ago, and I was just like, why did I like this? But then I did the same with Gremlins as well. I watched it at Christmas thinking, yeah. I was like, should have left this in the 80s.
Yeah. Well, I don't remember the last time I watched The Lost Boys, but it's I have fond memories of it. I remember
Yeah.
watching it a ton
Oh
when I
yeah,
was younger.
growing up, I loved it. Absolutely loved it growing up. I think the mistake was I tried to rewatch it again and try and capture that magic. You know, like in our cinemas, we had a playback of the film The Goonies.
Hmm.
Mm.
I was like, I loved that film as a kid, so I went to the cinema to watch it, and I was like, I am so bored. It just, what is going on? I'm getting old.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
think that's the problem is, with all the movies that we've seen now, everything we've watched as an adult and consumed, we go back thinking that those movies that got us on this path are going to be as amazing and magical as they were, and they almost
Although
always fall short.
you've got
because
two
of
posters behind you where they actually are still really good films.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah.
these are two of my favorites. Yeah.
Yeah, Event Horizon and The Thing. Yeah,
Mhm.
The Thing scared me so much when I was growing up, because of the dogs and all the stuff that comes out of them.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool. Then I showed it to my niece last year, I think, trying to scare her because she's it was the year before. She was 14 years old and she's just starting to get into horror. So I thought, well, we'll start light, and I put on The Thing for her, and she didn't bat an eyelid.
Yeah,
So I
no.
was like, oh. I turned off Event Horizon when I was watching that with her because I forgot how much orgy stuff there is.
Yeah.
And I was, I am not watching this with my niece. I was like,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
no.
Yep.
Even though it's quick
Right.
flashes and stuff, I mean, it's still pretty intense. And
Yeah, I completely forgot about that stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't realize there's so much nudity and sex in it. I was like, no, I'm not. Nope.
Yeah.
Her dad will kill me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and when I go to revisit the older movies, a lot of times I'll be like, okay, I get why if I watched it for the first time today, I would hate this movie, but I still lean into that nostalgia, because I love the Friday the 13th movies. That's my bread and butter when I was a kid. So when I watch them, they're not scary, but I find the humor, or maybe I, recognize some of the stuff, the special effects, some of that stuff was at the time at least cutting edge, even though nowadays, there are people
Oh,
doing
no.
some amazing stuff and things of that. So,
They get bonus points for killing Kevin Bacon as well.
oh yeah, for sure. That's the other fun thing about old horror movies. I think that we get to have, we get to go back and see all these big stars before they were anybody.
Yeah,
And
like
they're
Johnny
Yeah.
Depp getting
Johnny
it
Depp in Nightmare, and
Yeah.
even
He
though
had
you got
like one of
Mahoney.
the best stints.
Yeah, he
Yes,
did.
yes.
Mhm.
I mean, that first
Um,
Nightmare on Elm Street is an amazing movie. I mean,
Did you
I think
know
I think it holds up.
I made a Nightmare on Elm Street up all night, and you can watch it on YouTube. And I got the original production designer Mick Strawn involved, so we flew him out and we filmed it in Olympia near Seattle. And he was saying that they nearly killed everyone on that set with the bed where it, all the blood comes out because it was
Mhm.
filmed upside down, and it hit the electrics and everything. And if
Oh,
there's just
wow.
a little bit more, they would have zapped everyone. So I was like,
Gosh.
oh, well, that's great.
Yeah, and it's funny because The Thing had the same situation when they were doing the body on the table and it starts to melt and the head pulls away. The guy didn't know what he was
Yeah.
doing, and all that produced a toxic cloud, and it could have killed everybody that was in the room there too. And that's what almost urban underground filming style of the early 80s. We get to see so many great things as they were trying to learn how to do these special effects. There's tons of fun stories if you watch all the behind the scenes stuff.
I actually fell out with someone on Facebook, and they ended up blocking me because we filmed a feature film called The Call, and in that film, someone goes to basically stab a girl in the eye with a screwdriver. So I got the girl to lay down and thought, how are we going to do this? Because I need this screwdriver to basically be on her eyeball.
Hmm.
So I lay down next to her, put my arm on the table, on the bed, and then linked this arm in with screwdriver in hand, and she put her hand up as well. And then we just kept it going until she put it as close. And you can see how close it is. But if she sneezed at that particular moment, that is one blind girl. And
Yeah.
someone's like, I can't believe you did this. It's so irresponsible. You're just like, fuck off. Just
Yeah,
No,
no.
it's low budget. It's low budget movie making, and this is part of it. And they
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
know it. Everybody that's involved understands. If they weren't willing, if they're not involved, you know what I mean? They're in there. They get it.
Yeah.
So
And
yeah.
whenever we make films, I always say to mainly to the actresses, because it's different with guys, but I never want a woman to come onto one of my film sets and feel unsafe in any way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I'm like, if there's something that we're doing that you don't want us to shoot, you tell me. If you're too scared to tell me, you tell Justin, but you make it known and we will fix it for you. It's like, because I don't like filming sex scenes. It's just the most awkward thing. Like, I don't mind it if I'm filming them and someone else is doing it, but if I'm actually in them, I'm like, I wrote this, I'm directing it, and now I'm jumping on top of this girl. So I actually, like in Chained, there's a lot of sex in it. You don't see anything. It's all under covers and everything. But under the covers, you've got me and then a mountain of cushions. And then the girl buried underneath those, and I'm on top of the cushions. So, it looks like a lot's going on, but I'm like, nope, not even going anywhere near them, because it's just
I can see
awkward.
that feels, just hearing you describe it feels awkward,
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, because it's a professional
Yeah,
environment.
it's all
and
right
then
when
you're
you're filming
trying
it.
to do this. Yeah.
I actually
But then-
saw
Yeah.
on either it was Instagram or Facebook, it was a reel, and this woman is what's called an intimacy coordinator, and she goes on sets and she has like protective padding for like things, and she like talks out the scenes, and she makes sure everybody is like comfortable with all the scenes that are being filmed, even the cameramen, and she's like, oh, we can tape this, and it's, you only need to be nude from the waist up. You can wear sweatpants from the waist down because you're not going to see anything. It was really interesting that's actually a job, that there's somebody actually that's out there doing, stuff like that to make people safe.
It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
I don't have anyone like that on my film. I'll have a lady present. So because we're quite a male orientated little production company. If I'm filming anything rude or the slightest hint of lingerie or something, I'll have a woman present as well as whoever's doing the stripping off. But we filmed one film and the guy had to pretend to go down on her, and again, it's undercovers, so he doesn't need to go close, and she can wear whatever she wants because you're not seeing anything.
Right.
The camera stops. She's like, Matt, he actually face in there. I'm like,
oh
brilliant.
Gosh.
Okay, I'll have a word. We'll get it sorted.
Now, you were talking about The Call that you filmed with the screwdriver. That was based on the book, right? That you have? The Call?
Well, actually, the kind of, the film came first.
Oh, okay.
But because it was so late in production with the edit, because we had loads of issues, basically the editor vanished. He just stopped working on it for a while because of personal issues he had come up, which he had to deal with. So I thought, what, I'll put the book out because I need to be earning from this.
Yeah.
And the book has, I think, just about earned the budget of the film back now.
Oh, wow. That's great.
Because none of my films make profit.
Yeah.
But, we do it for love, not money.
Right.
Luckily.
Yeah. Because I actually just read The Call a couple months ago. I had it on my Kindle, and I'm like, I really need to get to more Matt stuff. So I read The Call, and I'm like, holy crap, this is really a great book. It's a great story. And the ending, I was like, what the hell? I didn't see that coming at all.
we didn't know the ending for, you know, when we were filming it, we had a different ending to what the book is, and it finished, and I felt like you got this big build up of this torturing this character, and then it just kind of finished and it fell flat. So I was like, well, I need to do something. So we had a dildo with loads of nails in it, and I was like, I want to bang her with this. And I thought, obviously you can't show it. So I went to a Home Depot type store and I bought a piece of guttering, you know, that goes around the house. I filled it with beef mince, and then I put conditioner over the top of it, and then put that on a stand, camera above it, filmed it at 100mm close-up lens, and then you see the toy come in and just start scraping the flesh away. So it looks like an internal shot. And it costs like $20 to do it, but it looks disgusting. And you're like, that's what the film is. That's actually why the film isn't on Amazon.
Mhm.
You know, it's only on Vimeo because there's also a flash of ladies' genitals on there, because the guy's on the phone, he's made a strip, he's watching her through a camera, and he's, you know, you got a real nice, and the C word
Yeah.
in there, and we have a flash, and that's actually one of my readers' vaginas.
Oh,
Just a
okay.
bit of a fact
There
for
you
you.
go.
I got in
There's a
touch,
trivia question.
Yeah.
got in touch with her, and I was like, do you mind taking a photo of your foo-foo so we can show it in the film? Because, you know, by trade she's a cam girl, so
Okay.
you know, she doesn't care about that kind of thing.
Yeah, she's more comfortable doing something like that. It's not just
Yeah,
some random housewife.
Yeah.
Sending it something. Yeah, I got it.
that one would be weird. That's
Yeah.
that's like going back to that certain author that used to video call his female readers, just
I know
jerking
all
off.
about, yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's, you know, moving into that territory, isn't it? If you just got like some random housewife, hey, can I have a picture of your lady bits for my
Yeah.
film?
Yeah. Will not go well.
Yeah.
So,
No, she works in the sex industry, so we thought, no, we're fine to ask her. It's not going to cause any offense. The worst
Yeah.
she'll do is say no, and I offered
Right.
her payment. She's like, no, I don't want your money. Here you go. Here's the picture. I
Yeah.
was like, thanks.
Yeah.
But yeah, so watching it, it just literally just flashes up in your face, and it's really quite Jesus.
yeah, one of those moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so speaking of your love of movies, what was the one that got you going for horror movies as a kid?
It was Nightmare on Elm Street is the
Was
main
it?
one.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I turned it off the first time I watched it because it scared me too much. Then I put it on when I was probably about 12 years old, and it made me very uncomfortable, but I enjoyed it. Well, enjoyed. I made it to the end. Then I started looking for other horror films, and nothing really impacted me as much. Now, in England, we couldn't get The Exorcist. You know, it's fully banned. When they did finally re-release it, and I went to watch it at the cinema, I was laughing through it. And I thought, no. But when I watched it at home by myself, and you got things creeping, you know, creaking around the house, like pops and things, I thought, actually, now I'm a little bit more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Like Blair Witch. Do you guys remember the original?
Oh yeah, no, I
Oh,
saw
yeah.
the opening night in the theater.
Me too. Yep.
Halloween, midnight showing, 18 miles away from where I lived. I say that because the film finished at 2 a.m, and I walked home.
Oh, no, thank
Now,
you.
down one of the roads is basically you got 5 miles of country lane.
Mhm.
And I'm walking, and you got the wind going through the trees. And as I was walking, I heard this noise. To this day, I don't know what it is. But I was like, just ignore it, get around the corner. As soon as I got around the corner, I ran. Because I thought of the bit in the Blair Witch when all they're doing is talking about the Blair Witch. You know, they're interviewing people, saying, oh, well, she looks like this, and she does this, and she does that, and her feet don't touch the floor. And that's all I'm thinking about as I'm walking through the woods. And I thought, that is so clever. But when I was watching it, nothing. It was only when it was done that it played on my mind.
Yeah. I think it's one of those movies though, also if you see it in a packed theater, that helps too. You know, you get that ending, you get the response of the entire group, and we all kind of feed into that.
The ending,
my wife,
right?
yeah, the ending is just fantastic. And but yeah, I had the exact same experience that you did. You know, it's later when you're thinking about it, and then you have those weird circumstances coming up, and then it starts to play a little bit more, and then you kind of feeding back into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
You watch the film and you're like, oh, that was interesting. I like what they did. Cool. And you leave, and then later you're just like,
yeah, just a little bit. That's why I'm always happy I have dogs. You know, we go see a scary movie in the theater, you come home, there's something in the house, the dogs will react. I'll know to get out. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So otherwise, it's just plain.
I've got a pug.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I don't know how that would work. I got two huskies, and at the time I had a German Shepherd, so they would react properly if there was something. So.
Yeah. Now, Matt, do you have a favorite horror novel?
To be honest with you, I don't really read horror novels.
Oh,
Do you know
okay.
Stephen Cunty King always says to be able to write, you need to read. It annoys me so much when people say that. It's like, to be able to write, all you need to be able to do is tell a good campfire story. You know, and obviously have a basic grasp of the English language. If you don't have a good grasp of the language, you're not going to be able to write, but you don't have to read. And I think the biggest thing with me reading horror is I'm worried that I'm going to start taking words off other authors. Like, I don't want to read Ed Lee and start sounding like Ed Lee. I don't want to read John and start sounding like him, you know, or Ralph James White. So I try and avoid horror. My favorite novel, which is, some people would call it a horror, is Jaws.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see if I can swing the camera a little bit. There's the third movie poster. So
there you go.
Yeah.
And Nightmare Before Christmas, nice.
Yeah.
Well, I was I want to say it's about 6-7 years ago, and I was on a beach in the Riviera Maya, Mexico, and I was just there on my sun lounger, hot, thought fancy a swim, looked up to the ocean. It's like, nah. I thought, I'm not going in the ocean. It's like, and that is a clever book.
I really enjoy the book.
Yeah, I live in Massachusetts, so I'm near where that book was taking place in Cape Cod. And every summer it's like the same. Oh, there's sharks in Cape Cod. Well, did you not read Jaws? Did you not see Jaws? And it's the ocean. There's of course going to be sharks in Cape Cod. They're there every summer. It's not a surprise.
See, I wouldn't have known that because I'm English and I'm ignorant. So I didn't even realize it was a proper place that they were talking about in the book.
Yep.
Yeah, I was just like, nah, I wouldn't go swimming in Cape Cod then.
Yeah, it's a place to avoid.
Yeah. Yep. Every summer it's like everybody makes a big deal. It's on the news, and I'm like, it's every summer, people. Like every summer there's sharks on Cape Cod.
There is something I want to do in Texas. Actually, I need to see if it's there when I'm out there. They play Jaws on a big screen around a lake, and you basically watch it in a rubber tube.
Oh no, thank you.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's up here or if it's down in Austin where they do that. But there's a water park here in town that does that. They do Jaws. Yeah, so we're a couple hours away from that. But our water park will do it every summer.
Really?
You know. Yeah, you can go sit in the wave pool, and they put it up big screen, and they do like 3 or 4 kid movies, and then they do Jaws.
See, I just think it's great. I mean, I don't know whether a swimming pool would have the same impact as a lake.
Oh, sure.
A shark in a lake, but there's still going to be things in that lake. And I don't know. I just think that would be a truly awful yet brilliant experience. So I want to try it. But yeah, I don't think I'll be flying into Austin anytime soon anymore.
Yeah. So for people who don't know your books, can you just describe a little bit about the genre you write in, or the subgenre, if you want to classify it that way?
Any you want to highlight, anything like that?
I don't know, because people say that I'm an extreme horror author, and then some people say I'm a splatterpunk author. And I'm like, well, it depends what book you read, because other books I write are psychological. You know, I've written romance books. I've written erotica and children's stories under a different name. But I mean, the book that got me my career going is obviously Sick Bastards. And I only wrote that to upset a publisher because he called me a sick bastard. Funny enough, he's actually just disappeared off of the internet because he said things really inappropriate about the Titan submarine thing, and but I'm the sick bastard apparently. But anyway,
yeah, I know, right?
I
Isn't that funny how that always work? It always plays that way out. The guy calling you names always ends up doing something stupid and then proving that he's the guy. Yeah.
But I just thought, you know what, if you want Sick Bastards, mate, I'll give you Sick Bastards. So I did 10 pages of a really graphic sex scene. And then an old woman comes in, you know, for God's sake, put your daughter down. Dinner's on the table. And then they go downstairs and there's a man there that they're carving up. And I thought, I'm really enjoying this. I'm just going to keep writing it. And I actually released it expecting a massive backlash because extreme horror wasn't really a thing at that time. But it just took off overnight. I sold the film rights to a big company. Sadly, they reverted back to me and didn't work a day since, you know, just went full-time author. But I think now I try to avoid the extreme horror label because I don't know whether you guys have been seeing it online where some of the older authors are trying to basically say extreme horror authors just write shit with no plot and story, just shock for shock value.
Yeah.
And some of these people that are saying it, I used to respect and, you know, look up to. And now I just think you're just you sound like a very bitter person right now.
Yeah. I try not to categorize the person by whether you're extreme or not extreme horror author. I categorize your books. Like The Suicide Club is not really extreme. It's more maybe like emotional or psychological horror.
Yeah, I wouldn't call it extreme.
Yeah, it's definitely not.
I absolutely loved it. I only wrote that because I was trying to get everyone to get a tattoo of the logo of the club. Because I thought, yeah, I've authored people before now. I said, hey, get a tattoo of my work and you get free books for life. And still no one's got a bloody tattoo.
Oh, that's weird.
Like, just get a match your tattoo, you get free books for life. The first person that does it.
I'm going to call your bluff.
No one's done it. No one's done it.
I'm going to call your bluff.
See. Get your tattoo on, then you can call them.
Yeah,
August 5th. August 5th.
I'm with you. I was going to say, I'm with you on the extreme horror thing. I used the term extreme horror when I started in 2019 because I wanted people to understand that there was violence and cursing and sex, but I didn't mean it to be, but it's a story. It's a book. You know, it's got an arc, a plot, and all that stuff. And then since 2019, it has spiraled. Extreme horror has spiraled into this weird thing that I'm like, well, so I started saying, well, I write extreme horror, but I'm not writing that kind of extreme horror. Just so you know, just trying to put because, you know, some people, they'll read your stuff and they'll want to know beforehand if they need to be prepared for stuff. And if you say extreme horror, that usually gets them in the right mindset, even if it's not that case. But the whole point is I'm trying to write a story beginning to end that totally, you know, entertains you. And yes, there may be some elements that you find uncomfortable, but it's part of the story. And that's why it's there. It's not just a checklist of, can I make you go, you know, whatever, get squeamish or bitch and moan about it on the internet. It's not just a checklist. It's an actual story.
I'm getting called, I think you guys say it differently. I think you say pedophile. We say
for hub.
in England. And I'm, for God's sake, I've only slept with 3 children. That's not a pedophile. No, I haven't slept with any. I'm getting so many people, well, not so many, but I'm getting people say, oh, he's a pedophile. So, well, you haven't even read the book. I've read it. Well, you haven't, because it's so limited as to who can buy this book. I know you haven't bought the book.
Yeah.
And they're like, you upset so many people because you wrote this. I was like, well, I haven't, because the feedback I'm getting on it is it's not extreme enough. or it made people very uncomfortable. But the majority of the feedback is that they liked the story because it has got a strong story to it. And the sequel, Kids, it's darker, but I would say it's more heartbreaking. You know, it's still got a really strong story behind it, because you say without the story, it's just boring.
Yeah, I'm with you 100% there.
But I also wrote, like, you know, I was told, you know, if you just read, a certain author recently put up a rant about what splatterpunk is, and it's all about movements and things like that and angry stuff. Yeah, their best mate over here went on a rant about extreme horror and splatterpunk in a most pathetic newsletter I've ever been highlighted to, because I don't follow them, but they sent it to me. And you know, I wrote a book called Roe versus Wade.
I love that book.
Yeah, I don't agree with abortion. You know, I don't like the idea of it. However, it's not my right to say anything. You know, if I was going to have a kid with my partner and I didn't want the kid, I would hope, or rather she didn't want the kid, I would hope she would have a conversation about it. Yeah. And then if she still wanted the abortion, it's her choice. Okay, that's what I'm saying. But in this newsletter, it said, well, this isn't splatterpunk, you know, writing about women's rights, that's not splatterpunk. And I'm like, well, it's a movement. It's something very topical. It's something that I'm quite passionate about, that why should a man dictate what a woman does? And the other way around, why should a woman dictate what a man does? If that's not splatterpunk, and that's not splatterpunk, and that's not extreme horror, where do I fit exactly? I've just got these old dinosaurs saying what is extreme horror and what is splatterpunk. You just like shut up and let people read what they want to read.
Yeah, I kind of like to say I write horror, and just it is what it is. Other than that,
yeah,
I don't even call myself an author. You know, I call myself a storyteller. I think I'm a shit author. You know, there's people out there who they're such great wordsmiths, but they haven't had as much luck breaking through. Because it's not just about whether you can write, it's luck as well as to whether you know, your career takes off. I came along at the right time, the right place, and I've managed to hold on to it. But every year the market changes and you have to learn to adapt with it. But like I say, then you've got these dinosaurs from yesteryear trying to dictate what is certain genres, instead of just concentrating on what they should be writing and letting readers choose what they want to read from synopsis. You know,
when it comes down to it, at the very end, it's all about the readers and what they want.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So why are you trying to say whether this is this genre, that? Yeah. What does it matter to you if you're an author? All that matters is, does the idea captivate a reader? You know, this newsletter was saying, if you keep stoking this stuff, the flames will go and horror will crash and blah, blah, blah. I'll still be around here afterwards. And I just read it. I just thought, oh, my God, you arrogant prick. And, you know, I shared it because the people that were sharing it were like, have you seen this? And they're laughing at it. So it's not striking the right chord with the readers like they think they're striking. It's just making themselves look bad. We just need to stay in our lane and write and tell our story.
Let the readers decide, you know, what they want to read and if they want to continue to follow that author's career, you know.
Yeah. And, you know, there's a lot of authors out there that think that writing is literally just about writing. You know, it's not. The biggest battle, you know, I do writing classes and I've done a couple of workshops out in America now, where actually, before you even write a book, you need to be on groups like Books of Horror and Splatterpunk and things like that, letting people get to know you as a person. You know, if they like the personality, they're more likely to support you. If you just write a book, you're just one of many people that have written a book going, hey, buy it. And you're going to get drowned in a sea of people doing the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the mistake I made. I just wrote a book, and I didn't even know Books of Horror existed or anything. I just wrote a book and then put it out there, and then slowly just learned these lessons. But I just did it all back asswards. So So as I'm slowly growing, but I'm like, yeah, for sure, you definitely need to be in these groups. You need to be talking to people that
But
that share
people
your
say
common
that.
interests, and just
Yep.
be friends and nice, and don't be a dick, and just go
Hmm.
through it. You know, I mean, it's the easiest thing ever. You know what I mean? I'm always amazed that people can't do it consistently. Just don't be a dick, and you'll be able to slowly work your way through
Yep.
stuff.
I've got
Yep.
people on Books of Horror is a perfect example. You've got people that know me on Books of Horror now. They know I'm a dick online. I'm playful. I'm just an idiot,
Right.
and they know it's just me being Pratt. But then you get the people that think I'm being serious. I don't know
Yeah.
whether you guys saw a post recently after Seattle. Lisa Breen interviewed me,
Hmm.
and she brought her little daughter,
I saw
6 year
that
old.
post. Yeah.
Yeah, and the daughter was saying, "Oh, nothing scares me," and I was like, "Have you seen The Exorcist?" And she was like, "Yes," and I was like, "It didn't scare you?" She was like, "No," and because she reads my Mystery Scared book. And it was recently her birthday, so I sent her the rest of the set because I thought it's great to have a young reader.
Hmm.
Because I hate children, but I love their imagination. I think they've got wonderful imagination.
Hmm.
But as a joke, I just said to Lisa, I was like, "Hey, on Books of Horror, say I recommended a Serbian film." And I said to Lisa, I said, "You watch it." I said, "Do not watch it with your kid, but you watch it because it is fucked up." And the people that were there going, "Oh, if he said that in front of my daughter, I'd kick his ass." I
They
was like,
lost their shit over that.
Yeah.
They lost their shit.
not all of them, though.
Yeah.
Some of them were like, "Oh, yeah, LOL, trust Matt," because they know it's a joke.
Hmm.
Yeah.
And one woman, I can't remember her name, and I wish I could, because I would name and shame her. But she was like, "Oh, I just thought he was being a retard." And you're like, "Did you actually just? We're not supposed to be using that word anymore." Yeah, I was just like, "Wow." I said, "Lisa, we need to put them right on this one and just say, look, we were just dicking around." And some
It's
people
amazing
went
how
back
many
into,
people. Yeah, it's amazing how people don't get the joke.
Yeah.
yeah. Even when people go, they're joking, they'll still be ranting about it, and you're like, why are you even online?
Yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
If you're something's upset by that, like a mother openly bragging that someone has just recommended such a horrible film to their kid, if you're going to believe that, then you're just going to believe anything online.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yep.
And what's
And
funny
on
is when I'm saying don't be a dick, I'm not talking about what you were doing. I'm talking about the people freaking out and
Yep.
doing that's the dick stuff. You know, the people
Yeah.
that don't get the joke, that don't understand how to interact with other people,
Yeah.
those are the people I'm talking about. It's really simple. You don't have to get upset. You can literally just keep scrolling
Yep.
and go to the next post and just let everything go.
Yep.
It did take me a little while to learn that myself, though, because I used to back in the day. When I were a young man, you could reply to your reviews on Amazon,
Oh
and
yeah.
I used to reply to them. This book's shit, so's your mum. And I found a Reddit forum, which was basically titled "Matt Shaw is a douchebag," and someone had screenshot my replies to these things. And it's it's good because it's part of my workshop now. I teach you how not to do things as well. So it's like, if you get 1-star reviews, rant about it to your readers by all means, but step away from the actual person doing the review.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I actually, I take a banner to conventions with me. You guys won't see it in America because I'm not even bringing books out there unless people pre-ordered them. But the banner says, "I don't know how anyone could write such shit, angry Amazon customer." And then underneath that it says, "I'm sorry, the author." And that's about the book Octopus. But whenever I take that banner, I always sell out of Octopus.
Nice.
So negativity does help sell books
Mhm.
occasionally.
Yeah, as long as you react properly in the reader's eyes, the
Yeah.
negativity is always perfect. You
Yep.
know.
Yeah, but it's just annoying though, because I mean, I don't mind 1-star reviews because they help you learn.
Hmm.
sometimes, but sometimes the reviews just come through. I had one, Matt Shaw's a prick. I was like,
It doesn't help.
I'm not really sure what I can learn from that, to be honest.
I know, right?
I've known for years I'm a prick.
Yeah.
That doesn't help me in the slightest. If you're like, he's this is how he can fix his life, I might stand a chance.
Right.
As it is, yeah. But I like it when they do the 1-star reviews and they go into all the detail.
Right.
Yeah, those are nice. Sometimes they'll even help. Yeah.
Unless you're a fucking American picking holes because I'm writing in English.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I just saw that.
I get that. Yeah.
I saw that recently. I forget whose book it was, but the review like picked apart the spelling, and I know the author, so I knew it was a UK author, and I'm like, I wish I knew what book this was so I could go on there and be like, dummy, don't you realize the author is from the UK? That's how they spell like flavor and recognize with an S instead of a Z and stuff like that.
My favorite is we say the word whilst in England. So whilst I was making the tea, the doorbell rang, kind of thing. And I had a review attacking me for using the word whilst because I'm being really pretentious. I'm not being pretentious. It's my language, is how I speak.
Yeah.
You know. Although I recently met up with an American, and at the end of our time together, she was like, "You didn't say whilst once."
Busted.
Busted.
You gotta have to work that in at Texas AuthorCon a couple of times so we know.
I was just reading. I was going to say, I was just reading a book. I just finished it right before we got on here, and it takes place in Liverpool. And I had to message the author and be like, "What's a punter?" Because that word came up quite a bit. And at first, I thought I could figure out what it was. Punter, Punter. I guess it's like a customer or somebody buying drinks.
Guy that fucks prostitutes is a punter.
Oh, well, that's not what he said.
David McCluskey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with him the other week.
He's got
the scousiest accent ever. But yeah, a punter is someone that will buy something, but normally in slang these days, punter's more used towards someone that would employ the services of an escort or a street girl or something like that.
Well, that's not the context in the book, because it was all about people in a club. So
Clubs.
Well,
that's just Liverpool, though. That's just Liverpool. Yeah. That's just Dave being weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just give up with McCluskey's books. They're crap. He's a weirdo. We don't support people from Liverpool because they're normally drug addicts and they steal things. So, just saying Dave's a bad guy, and it's why I went to say hello to him. No, I've known Dave for years. It must be about 6 or 7 years I've known him now. And I still can't understand a bloody word he says. It's like, all right, mate, how's it going?
That's funny.
But yeah, I get so fed up with those reviews though, and because obviously we got the car boot, and you guys say the trunk.
Yep.
We got bonnet, you've got hood,
garbage,
trash, and bin. And it's just, I think that's also part of why I hate coming out to America sometimes as well, because whilst we're fairly similar, we're so different. The English and the Americans. And when I come out, I'm always so fucking lost. Although I survived Chicago, the first thing I said when I got off the plane, I went up to a woman and I said, "Wow, you're some special kind of cunt." Because she really offended me. And I meant it, because normally I use that word playfully. But I just got off the plane and I went round to the convention center, dropped my books off, come out of this thing, and there's my hotel across the road. But I can't see how to cross the road, because I'm not allowed to just run across the road in America because it's jaywalking. So I was like, well, how do I get to my hotel? And she just looked me up and down. She went, I just walked off. It was like, wow. So yeah, she got full jet lag straight at her.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
I was going to say, I bought myself the best t-shirt, sorry, the best shirt for Texas Orthicon. I haven't got a flight yet, and I've got no idea where I'm going to stay hotel-wise. Once upon a time in Seattle, I didn't have a hotel. I literally just walked around Seattle all night until the convention opened again. And I just did 3 days straight. So I might do that in Texas yet. But I couldn't resist this shirt. It was covered in dicks. And I thought, you know what? That's perfect. Perfect Texan shirt right there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, it's
It'll
gonna be
definitely get you
hot.
some attention. Yeah, there's no walking around. You're not going to be walking around.
No, it's gonna
You're
be like
gonna wanna
100
find
degrees.
someplace. So,
Yeah, not during the day. I want to find a pool during the day, and
yeah.
that's where I'll nap, because that's what I did when I used to go to KillerCon. I used to like Raph was like, "Is that Matt by the pool?" I thought English guys were supposed to burst into flames. Because I would just literally lay in the heat because I love heat.
Mhm.
Absolutely love it. But then at night, it's cooler at night, surely.
Yeah, it'll drop down. I mean, sometimes we have it. We had the last week we had a bad heat advisory and it didn't drop too much. It was still high 80s at night, but hopefully it'll get normal. So it'll cool down.
Well, yeah, because I don't want to be sweating all night.
Sure.
That won't be fun. And then during the day, I think the convention's like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. It starts, isn't it? 1
Yeah, I
to
think
9.
so.
Yeah.
Which is really weird. I've never done a convention with those hours before, so it'll be interesting to see what it's like.
Mm.
It's a shame it was a last minute thing that I thought of. And again, I'm only coming thanks to that person that got me sacked from a part-time job. Because otherwise I was going to come to Texas Orthicon next year. And now obviously I can come out now and meet Duncan Ralston. Because again, I've known him my whole career. My whole career we've been friends. And it'll be nice to actually meet him and just I'll probably just kick him in the nuts because he thinks I won't.
Well, that's a nice segue into, your most recent project, because I know, don't you and him have a book come? Am I not supposed to talk about it?
We actually wrote that years ago.
Oh,
The book Coming Together. So it's been available on Kindle, but we've never had it in paperback before.
oh, okay.
And I've forgotten the name of the book. It's a text or whatever. I don't know. But if you hold the book this way up, it's my cover. And then if you turn it around, and then it's his story on the back, and then you read it the other way around.
Oh, I think it's called Tate to Base, because Roland Bursey
Yes.
Jr. just had some book like that.
Yeah.
Because that's where Duncan got the idea from. Because he's like, "Hey, Roland's just done this." Roland, by the way, absolute asshole as well. He's not a nice guy. I don't know if you know.
Yeah, we do know him, so that's why
Yes.
we know that you're full of it.
Roland is one of my favorite people, so.
Yeah, no.
He actually, but not a lot of people know this. He puts on the front for readers, but he actually beats children up. He's an awful person.
Yeah, no. That's going to be a tough one to swallow.
No, I love Roland because we met at KillerCon.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart.
He is.
On the last day, I invited him to breakfast just to hang out with him because I thought, you know what, I think this is before he was even writing. It's like he wanted to write, but he wasn't writing at that point. So I invited him to breakfast at the hotel just because I thought he's a really nice guy to hang out with. He's just polite, funny, and just there's not a bad bone in his body. I've never seen him post anything angry. I've never heard him raise his voice. He just seems like the most chilled person ever.
Yeah,
he's one of my favorite people.
But it was Duncan was like, Roland's just released this, whatever you said it was, so that we should do it with Coming Together. And my story was Whole and his was Prick, which is why they're coming together.
Oh, okay, I get you.
But
nice.
Because Etsy has changed how they're working, I can't put the book up for sale for people anywhere else that aren't coming to Texas Orthicon. Because now with Etsy, you guys know what Etsy is, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I buy from your
But
shop all the time, Matt. You should know that.
just checking. But they hold 75% of the money. So if you buy a book for $20, they'll keep 75% of that money until I ship that book with tracking.
Mm.
Now,
Oh, wow.
25% of the money is not enough for me to order the book, get it delivered to me, sign it, put it in a post with tracking, and send it off to the reader. I can't, it doesn't cover it.
Right.
So I said to it, how's about you just, help me out here and just take 50%? And they're like, no, it's got to be 75%. You're a high risk shop.
What?
And I'm like, high risk shop. Last month, this high risk shop gave Etsy $3,000 in fees.
Wow.
And I'm like, you've literally just shut the door on yourself for that now, because I can't buy all this stuff up front and then wait 45 days for you to send me the money.
Wow.
So
That's
currently
crazy.
got to rethink how I work the business, which is, as I told you earlier, everything's always changing and we need to stay ahead of the game. It's always another curveball to be thrown out. So I don't know how to fix that one yet, but find out tomorrow.
Yeah. So yeah, with that being said, you have an Etsy store. Where else can people buy your books?
I'm going to be doing more on Etsy, to be honest with you, because I did a campaign on Indigo as well, the crowdfunding campaign. And I just put Hub on there, a book which I thought is a very specific audience for this, that it's not going to be to everyone's tastes, so I'm going to bury it. But in 30 days, that made a lot of money. So I'm like, I'm missing a trick by just writing really fucked up stuff and putting it on Indigo and Etsy, and then just putting my normal horror on Amazon, because Amazon's a good selling place. But yeah, so it is literally, you can only buy my work from Etsy or Amazon at the moment. And then occasionally I run campaigns on Indigo. Like at the moment, we've got a campaign for Kids, the sequel to Hub, and on that campaign you can also buy the book And God Created, because I'm not going to release it to Amazon because it's kind of about Sandy Hook.
Okay.
Okay.
You don't want to get flagged.
Yeah, and I'm basically God comes down, takes over our bodies, and does bad things. So he kicks in Sandy Hook and goes in with his gun, does what he does, and then fucks off back to heaven. Because downstairs, all of us that survive, please God, keep our children safe. Please God, help me God. And they just pray harder, which gives him more power. And then when it feels like the world's turning darker again, he'll come down and do some other atrocity which sickens us enough to pray to God. But I thought, if I write this and I put it on Amazon, I'm going to upset the people that go in for God and all of that, which that doesn't bother me too much. But I don't want to be upsetting people. Like I was talking to Ed Lee about it, and he said, don't use the word Sandy Hook, change the name to this. So it sounds like it, but it's not. And I probably will end up down that route. Because I don't want to be upsetting real victims.
Yeah.
And And God Created sounds like quite a tame title. So it could be purchased by accident by people that I don't want reading it.
Right.
If I keep it hidden like Hub and Kids, it's going to be people that know me, know my brand.
And search out your work.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that way you can't really get any complaints about it. Well, I say that, look at Hub.
Yeah.
Right.
Complaints about that. So yeah. And then I even started an OnlyFans. I've been on OnlyFans for about 4 months now. And do you know what the really sad thing about OnlyFans is? It's a much better site than Facebook.
Huh?
It's like you can schedule posts on there, you can do paid posts on there, so you could link your book directly to a post on OnlyFans, and people can download it off that post and you get tipped. But the sex workers took the site over, so people just think OnlyFans as tips
Right.
and
Yeah.
vagina.
Mhm.
But there's so much promise to that website, and it's trying to utilize it and figure out how to get people to trust it. And I'm on Patreon as well, because that was always a good idea.
Now, I just want to
Patreon.
be clear for people that are coming to the event to see you. You're not coming with books other than the pre-purchase stuff, right?
Yeah, look, I'm trying to, but I fucked up basically, which is why I might not have a hotel. So I'm probably going to be just prowling the streets at night and sleeping by the pool during the day, and then at the convention in the evening, and then fuck off on the streets again. Because when I looked at the flights, they were £700. So I was like, you know what? Okay, so it's going to cost me about £1,200 to come out there. So hotel and that £700 was one way.
Oh,
So to get back home again, it actually pushes a flight to £1,200. And I was just like, that's basically flying with this,
yeah.
flying with that. So the books have been pre-purchased. I'm shipping direct to the event. I've got a couple of people that have given me their address. And if for some reason they don't show up at the event, then I'm going to ship them direct from my home after the event. And I'll cover the cost of shipping. So I'll make a loss, but it means that no one would lose their book.
Mm-hmm.
If I can raise money for some extra books, I will be bringing some more, because I have been given a table space there, which
great.
which I don't really want to, let everyone down and waste the table. I did warn this when I was offered it. I said, look, I might not have any books. So I am working on it. And tomorrow morning, I've got a book coming out, which I'm releasing only 30 copies in paperback. And then it's gone. And it's based on the ambulance job. It's based frequent callers that would phone the ambulance job and just be dickheads. I was like, what if an emergency call taker one day snapped and got all of their addresses, because it's all very easy, and just went round and fucked them up. And I didn't dare release it because I was working with the call taker.
Mm-hmm.
But tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, I'm handing my notice in. So at 10:05, the post is going up selling this book. And then hopefully if I can sell out of those within a few hours, then I can take some stock out to Texas with me. And then just hope it sells, because I won't be able to bring it home.
Gotcha.
Nice.
Really, I'll be honest, it was a bloody stupid idea to come out to Texas this year, but
Yeah, I'm excited, but I was also very shocked when you said, hey, I think I'm going to come this year. Because I know, we had talked about next year, but I was like, it's cool though, and it kind of feels on brand. And I don't mean that in a mean way. You're taking a chance, you're taking a shot, you're going to come see us early. And I think that's cool.
Yeah, I won't make, this trip is going to be a massive loss. But sometimes, and this is something that other authors need to learn as well, sometimes it's not about the money, it's about the connections you make.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at Texas AuthorCon, there's a lot of people there that I know, but I've never met. And now I can go into this event, I can actually meet them properly and cement a friendship with them. Online friendships fizzle out because you start chatting with other people, or malicious stories go about you in private writing groups where someone accuses you of doing something which never fucking happened, and you have people turning your back on you and things like that. So it's it just seems a really stupid move not to come to Texas AuthorCon this year when so many people I know are going. And next year, if it's still the same crowd going, if I have fun this time, I'll plan it better, so I'll be able to, you know, save some money and get some funds together and do it properly. And I'd come back again, because I used to go to KillerCon every year. But now, like I say, I'm looking for new places. I am signed in for Seattle for the next few years at their Crypticon event. And it'd just be nice if I had somewhere else to go as well. And I've always loved Texas. I know you guys bitch about the heat there, but I love it.
Oh yeah, no, I don't have a problem. I'm not moving, you know. I like it. So, but I mean, I get it when people are upset about the heat, but yeah, no, I'm a fan. So
have you got a swimming pool?
Do I personally? No. But I have family. They all have community pools and home pools and all that stuff. So I can get you there. I can get you to a pool pretty easy.
Oh, I was thinking you have to have you know, if I lived there, because when I was in Round Rock for KillerCon, there's a pool at the hotel. So I was basically by the pool all day. I don't think I could survive without a swimming pool close to hand.
Yeah.
Because I'm a horror author, but I'm also, you know, just so people know, I'm straight up. I did try walking around Round Rock playing Pokemon Go. No, don't laugh. It's not a laughing matter. Very serious game.
That's
Hey, I have Pokemon Go, so.
But I nearly fucking died. It was so hot trying to walk around and play. It's like midday, and my phone kept coming up with warning, too hot.
Too hot. Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I'm not catching these Pokemon. I'm going back to the pool.
Yeah.
And I didn't actually go into the event that much that year. I just stayed by the swimming pool, just soaking up the rays. I needed some sunshine.
No, you'll get plenty here, and we're excited that you're coming. So
yeah, I'm very excited. I'm super excited to meet you. So because I was bummed that I couldn't get
best behavior.
Yeah. But I was bummed when I couldn't get to New York to meet up with you and Aaron. When you and Aaron met up at that hotel in New York City, it just wouldn't work out. So I was like, oh man, I'm never gonna get to meet the Matt Shaw. But now I'm gonna get.
I got shit on Facebook because of that the other day as well. The Matt Shaw. Does he really say that? That's weird. It's like, yes, there's a story behind it, you pleb. America was New York was fun, but it shows how different Aaron and I are. Because I got the presidential suite in the hotel because it was a cheap upgrade, and I was like, yeah. And I thought we just have to go up to the suite. And I normally, when I do meet and greets and things, because I do it fairly often, where I don't like going to conventions, I'd rather go out and just hang out with the readers. Like I went to, after New York, went to Ohio, Cleveland, and we just went to the zoo together. And it was just a nice day. But I go into the suite and Aaron's there, bless him. He's bought his drinks and everything. He's like, right, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to have a little bit of a talk about this, and then we can post for some photos, and then we'll sign some books. And I'm there just telling filthy jokes. I don't really go for structure. I just rock up. What happens. The people that enjoy it will stay, and the people that are uncomfortable with it can go. And it's just fun, although I can't do that much these days because now, like I say, I've done a deal with Seattle. I'm on my best behavior when I go there because I want to keep going back. Although one lady put a post up saying that I disappointed everyone because I didn't show up at the event, and loads of people were waiting for me and everything, and I had all the screenshots sent to me. So that's why I put loads of pictures up of me at Seattle, at my table, meeting lots of different people. Thought, I'm here. It just so happens when you went to the table, I was doing a panel and then a workshop. So I show up and I'm always happy when I do.
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, Matt, it has been such a pleasure to talk to you.
No, thanks for having me along. It's been fun.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to seeing you July 14th and 15th out in Richardson, Texas. So we'll have a link to the Eventbrite site. It's a free event, but you do need a ticket in order to be eligible for the door prizes. So sign up, and we will see you all there. Thanks so much.
Take it easy.